Hey dog fans, do you have a dog that is able to do basic commands like your sit and your down and maybe a stay and a recall, but when you find that there are some distracting things in its environment, such as people or food or smells or other dogs, that your training seems to go down the toilet? Well, that's when it's time to work on those behaviors, but doing some distraction training. So here's a little video of me and my dog Pi. After I noticed that on our off-leash walks, she was getting pretty slack with her commands under the distractions that she was encountering outside. So I thought it was time to do a bit of refresher course. So what you're going to see is a bit of an accelerated lesson. I've cut out a lot of the repetitions that we did for interest's sake, and also because this is not brand new to her. Again, it was refreshing that I went a lot faster than you certainly would if you were training this for the first time with your dog. So buyer beware, this is going a little bit too fast, even for my dog. I probably should have slowed things down a bit, but it gives you an idea about the steps you need to take in the progression. So at this first stage, what you're trying to do is approach the distraction at an appropriate distance so that the dog is not pulling towards the distraction. And then the instant that your dog reorientates to you, then you reinforce it and move away from the distraction. So we approach the distraction and I reinforce the instant that she reorientates back to me. Approach again, and with a little bit of leash pressure, she reorientates back to me. You can see that she's nice and happy and relaxed with the wagging tail. That's what you want to see when you're training. Here she's thinking, and she makes the right choice and gets reinforced. Thinking, shorter pause, and makes the good choice. And then look at that, she's looking up to me and ignoring the distraction. Perfect. Good job. So once you've had good fluency with the first stage of getting your dog to reorientate to the handler, now you can add in a known behavior such as sit or down, something simple for your dog that they will perform close to the distraction. Sit down. Good. Okay. Before moving to this stage, you're going to need to do several repetitions of known behaviors next to the distraction until you feel that it's quite well consolidated and the dog is happy and comfortable and confident with that stage. Then you're going to be able to come to this stage and add duration to the behaviors, asking for stays. So I like that she keeps her gaze on me and not back to the bowl. I wasn't happy that she didn't keep the downstay, so I'm just doing a reset. And there I probably pushed her too far. I shouldn't have asked for the recall quite at that stage. So now I'm switching positions. So now she's at the other side of the bowl, approaching it from a different direction. She pauses, but she's successful. Good girl. Good girl. In this trial, there was an unplanned added distraction. There's someone now working in the kitchen, and I'm having her come from fairly close to the bowl and doing a recall towards me. You can hear the noises from the kitchen. think she's starting to get a bit tired and not doing the known commands quite as well. Excellent recall, though. Whenever you're training, you never want to do it in a progressively linear fashion. We don't always want things to be continuously getting harder and harder. So what you want to do is go back. You go back and forth, a little bit of a spiral. You'll challenge your dog, then you come back to an easier thing, and then you can challenge them again and bring it back a little bit. And so here's an example of me bringing Pi back to an earlier stage before we're going to move on to something more challenging.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So now after going back a step and having a little refresher of the basics, Pi and I are now ready to go on and just push for a little bit more before ending the training session. So here I'm having her do a downstay, and she's quite close to the bowl this time. Now I like that she's keeping her gaze on me, having a longer duration and just doing a little bit out of distraction. And she pauses, but really well done. So if your dog has got a fairly good foundation in its training and you're ready to take it to the next level with proofing those behaviors with distractions, then Paragon Pooch has a 6-week training program to work on precisely that. Or if your dog does not yet have its training foundations, well, we've got you covered with that too. We have an excellent program for teaching both dog and owner all the basics that they need for being successful in their training.